I've got 2 pieces of fabric, right sides together, pattern side for the front and just a plain for the inside of the mask. This is measured 13 inches by 9 inches roughly for an adult size mask. I've put markings on here just so I can mark the gap for the filter pocket. So you just want to mark where you want to start sewing and where you want to end. I've just got a few inches gap there. Then I'm going to go ahead and sew all the way around here with about 1 centimetre seam allowance, or 1/2 inch, whatever you want to use really. I'll come back to you then. Okay, so I can't see the markings very well with this chalk pen, but I'm going to start at the first marking. There we go. And then you've got a gap here, just a few inches, and that allows you to turn it the right way around. So once this is the right way around, I just take a chopstick and just poke the corners out. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and press those edges flat. So I've pressed that flat, and you want to make sure that your filter pocket is at the bottom, and then you're going to take a section at the top. Don't know how big that is. So I'll just eyeball it. 3.5 centimetres roughly. Doesn't really matter. And just fold that way. And that's your nose pleat. There we go. So you've got your nose pleat on the back, this on the front, and then you put your pleats in. So I use these little clips. So I kind of just eyeball it using the grid on my mat just to make sure it's even on both sides. Just to make sure it's square. Match it up there. That's my first plate, and then I just do one more plate. So make sure that they're even. Nope. Nope, still not even. Try again. Yep, that's good. There we go. So your first pleat is actually here. That's your second pleat, that's your third pleat, and then the last bit across the bottom, turn it over, and I just take up just a tiny bit there, and that just helps the mask naturally shape under your chin. So when you've got your mask on, that'll pull the mask up under your chin and help create a bit of a seal. Okay. Then I'm going to press this. Okay, so I'm just going to press these pleats into place and take the clips off. And just press those edges. And then if you turn that over, I'm going to turn in the edges. I don't know how much. Sometimes this will help you get a straight edge. There we go, width of a ruler. Press that down a bit. There's the opportunity to tuck that in a bit if it hangs below the bottom. Just tuck that in a bit so that it's level. And then when you've folded that over, let's give that a good press. There we go, and that is 3.5-ish, just over 3.5 centimetres. That gets you a straight fold. There we go, and that's the mask almost done. So then what I do, go to the sewing machine and I just sew down the edge here and down the edge here. So here I'm just going to sew these channels shut. And I literally just have the edge of the presser foot in line there. Make sure you backstitch a few at the beginning. Go, that's one. And that's two. And that's the mask ready. I'll show you the channels, the ear ties next. Okay, so I've snipped off the excess threads, and then to do the ear ties I use this, it's a ball of t-shirt yarn, and I just cut a appropriate length off. I find that it's too thick to go through these little pony beads, so I have to cut it in half. So I just unravel it a bit and snip it up the middle, just to get a, doesn't need to be perfect because the edge is curling anyway, you can't see the edges. I'll come back to you in a minute. So I'll show you how to make these ears ties next. So I cut that thread in half. I've already done one there, and then I cut each end just into a point just to make it easier to get through these beads. So I thread one bead into the middle, and then the second bead goes over both ends, folded in half. Fold that in half, and then you've got to try and feed. I think you can get a little tool to do this, but I haven't got one, so I improvise. There we go, both ends through. So once you pull two through, then that makes the ear loop adjustable. So then to thread these through, I use, I think it's a yarn needle, darning needle. It's easier than doing paper clips, or if you've got one of those, I suppose if you've got one of those proper tools, that'd do the job. But nice and easy, that just threads straight through like that. So be careful not to get caught on the pleats on the way through. And here we go. And then it's as simple as you just put a tie on the end there. Make sure you're happy with the size of that loop. Make sure that they match. That one's a bit tighter. I'll loosen that one up. Yep, they feel good. And then I just snip off the excess. And then thread that knot through into the channel there. Like that. And then you've got your little adjusters. Voila! One, it's upside down. It's called a Passmore pleat mask. So that top fold goes over your nose. So that when you've got that on, that creates like a nose holder, and then that bottom one just helps it pull up under your chin a little bit, and the filter pocket is still in that seam there. There you go. I will just add quickly, once you've sewn your two pieces of fabric together around the edge, you can just snip the corners off. You just do a little triangle snip off the corner, then that will just help it sit flatter when you've turned it inside out, or the right way around.